Hi everybody, welcome back to tnoozLIVE at the Aviation Festival, presented by JetBlue Technology Ventures and sponsored by Travelair. My name is Martin Cowan, I'm Editorial Director for tNews. I'm going to be talking to Katri Salonen, I think I've got that right, who's the Chief Digital Officer for Finnair. Thanks for making the time to talk to us, Katri. Just give us an idea of what a Chief Digital Officer for a big airline like Finnair does on a day-to-day basis.
Well, it's plenty of different things, of course. What I'm doing, I'm running a department called Transformation and IT. So we have a little bit of a different setup than many companies that have employed CDOs. I oversee the IT as a function, and we have built 3 new teams to support the transformation of the whole transformation, the business transformation of Finnair. So we have a transformation team, we have the IT team, and I have an agile team that is on a daily basis building our customer-facing services. So basically there's quite a lot of different angles that we are working with in order to support the business and digital transformation of Finnair.
Okay, so digital transformation, against the phrase I've heard a few times this morning. I mean, there are two components, as I see it, at least two, to digital transformation. There is the systems, but then there's also the mindset. And maybe how do you build a sort of digital transformation mindset into an organisation? I mean, is that more or less difficult than changing the back ends?
Oh yes. When we first started to look at what we want to achieve with digital transformation and how we want to kind of strategically benefit from it, we decided to go for quite a transformative vision. So what we're building going towards 2020 is a intelligent travel ecosystem. And of course we want it to be best as well. So we then looked at different things that we need to put our focus on. We have 3 different kind of value layers that we are working with. We're working with kind of new businesses, new services that we want to introduce. We're working with the processes and ways of working within the organization. And we're also working with the customer-facing front, like I mentioned. Below that, or next to it, of course, are the enablers. So if we want to create value through working in with these 3 possibilities and opportunities, then we have the 2 key enablers. And those are exactly like you said, people and technology. So from the very beginning, we already started to work with people transformation. And we worked 2.5 years ago, we started with awareness building, for example. So we arranged a lot of meetings, invited a lot of people from outside the industry and from outside Finnair as well to talk about what's going on and then to kind of a little bit maybe open our eyes and give us the opportunity to question and discuss around digital and really kind of raise up the awareness among everybody at Finnair. Okay. So for us it was really important and then for me personally it was really important that when we started to work, of course we had done this work also before, but when we started to really kind of push and put and invest in digital transformation, we started with the assumption or with kind of the starting point that we're working with the whole organization. So our digital team, back then it was around 5,500 people, and now it's a bit more than 6,000. So it's that was kind of the basic assumption for us, and really important for us to really focus on our people.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, from a sort of a tNews perspective, the digital transformation tends to focus in on conversations around sort of sales and marketing and distribution. And I'm just wondering what other aspects of the airline industry is digital transformation relevant to? Yes,
that's a great question. There's a lot of other opportunities outside sales and marketing and distribution too. We work in 3 different areas. We work with the growth. Finnair is a growth company, and for us, also from digital perspective and IT perspective, it's really important to be able to enable the growth and even, of course, accelerate it with all the digital means that are there. That's also a lot, of course, about sales and marketing. But on top of that, we have 2 strategic cornerstones. We have the customer experience, which is also a lot of other things than sales and marketing. It is also a lot about the transactions that our customers want to do digitally.
Yeah.
So that's a really important area for us. The customer experience and then going over to the employee experience.
Okay.
So we believe that a great employee experience produces and is kind of the basic for a great customer experience. So from my side and from our team's side, we need to be sure that our employees have at least as lovable services, digital services in their use as our customers have. So it's kind of the other side of that, and that of course takes us to all parts of the organization. It takes us to maintenance, it takes us to cargo, it takes us to all the different teams working at Finnair. And what we try to do is really to help them make their work more effective, easy, and also kind of a lot more maybe fun.
Okay, so the digital transformation is across the entire business.
It
Airlines are very complicated businesses,
Yes.
so you mentioned cargo in passing and maintenance. Those are all very important aspects of the overall airline experience, and these
Yes.
are being these are part of the digital
Yes.
transformation mindset as well.
Well, for example, maintenance is a team where we took our mobile approach first to maintenance.
Okay.
So I think that there's a lot of opportunities around the organization. From our focus, we started focusing on the mobile services and brought those to the organization. We're continuing with that. We brought them to cabin crew. We brought them to also, of course, to several kind of knowledge working functions. So there's still a lot of work to do in that area.
Okay. Sort of looping back, I mean, you joined Finnair from outside of the travel industry. I mean, what did you find when you were knee-deep into Finnair that was a bit surprising or was more challenging than you'd thought, or maybe even more straightforward than you thought? I'm always interested in getting perspectives from outside of travel, and I'm just wondering what your take was.
Yeah, so maybe two things I want to mention. This is a great question, and I get to ask, I mean, people ask it quite frequently. One of the things I want to mention, really positive surprise for me was the speed in the organization. A lot of people tend to think that big corporations are a little bit slow and maybe don't implement that fast. But actually at Finnair I found the opposite. Like when we have agreed something, it's quite fast. It is already taken and implemented across the organization, and that was of course a really positive thing to find out. And there have been really great experiences around that.
Okay.
And then maybe the other thing is that I also mentioned it in our panel discussion, that sometimes we tend to think too much about the industry itself, so to say. So it is kind of an obvious thing, but thinking outside of the box and looking a little bit or quite a lot at what other industries are doing and what is happening outside aviation. I think that's really important for us, and we try to find and we find inspiration across the industries outside aviation, and I think that's a good thing. So that's something that we try to enforce all the time.
That's good. Okay. A slight sort of change of focus, maybe a bit sort of consumery, but I mean Finland. Geographically, Finland is quite interesting in that it's such a good stopover destination for people flying east to west.
Yes.
And so I'm just wondering what you can do digitally to sort of reinforce that USP for Finland as a destination. Also, to what extent Finnair works with the wider Finnish tourism sector.
So we work quite actively with the whole ecosystem in Finland and also wider. For us, it's really important. What we have done then, different things. For us, it's important, for example, that the destinations, the great destinations and experiences that we can offer as a country, we try to encourage and support the destinations in their own digital journey.
Okay.
So, for example, we have a cooperation with Bokun, which is one of the platforms that you can really bring your experience to and kind of digitalize it.
Yeah.
And we see that that's really important for the customers around the world, so that they will find Finland and the great experiences. So that's kind of one example of how we work together with the ecosystem around Finland. And of course, then we work quite closely with all the travel ecosystem participants. For example, there was recently a digital game launched where Finland or some spots in Finland are kind of spots where everything happens.
Yeah.
So there's different things that we try to sometimes sponsor and sometimes really be part of, and also bring the industry together to discuss and to share. So that's also important.
Okay, so the partnership with Boken, I mean, are you selling their tours and activities through Finnair.com, or are you...
Sorry?
With Boken, are you selling their tours and activities through the Finnair site?
So we're looking at the opportunities of how we could work with them together in the future, and also, I mean, of course, there needs to be inventory on the platform if you want to do that.
Okay, so they get the inventory online,
yeah,
and then that
so
puts you in a
basically, I mean, of course, for us, it's important that the customers who want to travel, maybe from Asia or who knows, that they find the products and that they find the experiences, and we do know that the experience is many times the thing that people go for. So from that perspective, if Finland doesn't have a lot of inventory on the digital platforms, it's not that good for us either.
Yeah.
So we really want to work with the whole ecosystem from that perspective.
Okay. Maybe just one other question around sort of like the wider tourism industry. I mean, how much traffic, how much business is actually in the stopover sector? I mean, is it a significant part of what you do, or is it quite a sort of revenue generating part of what you do?
Well, we would like to be a lot bigger than it is, let's put it that way, and we definitely see, if you think about our business proposition and the number of transfer customers that we have, it's a big opportunity for us, and we're definitely looking into that, how we can bring more products and bring more experiences to our customers. So definitely a really interesting opportunity.
Okay, all right. Well, listen, Katri, thank you very much for making the time to join us. I know you've got some panels to do and customers to see, so thanks very much for taking time.
Thanks for having me.
This is Martin Cowan, Editorial Director for T News. I'm saying goodbye, but I'll be saying hello again shortly. Thank you. Bye.